Hey everybody, so most of you know I own a farmhouse in Germantown. Just over the summer, just from working on the house, my basement has accumulated a lot of things on the floor. It's really important when you live in the country, especially during the winter months, you have to have a real clean basement because mice will come into your house. There's not really a way to keep them out. They're very damaging. They will get into your walls and chew on your electrical wiring and burn your house down. They're just disgusting. So you got to make sure you have a real clean basement that's not cluttered, so that way it's easy to set traps and poison and things like that. I'm going to show you how to build a real nice basement shelf for your basement, and it's super easy. I went to Menards and bought some 2x4s. It cost like literally 40 bucks. We're going to get 3 shelving units out of that essentially, or 3 shelves that are going to store the majority of the things that I need to put down here in the basement. So stay tuned to show you what we're going to do. Okay, so I'll show you how I'm going to build this. So for one, we're going to use this I'm not entirely sure what the material is, but it's like a pressed cardboard. It's like a very firm pressed cardboard. It's pretty strong. When I bought this house, they left a stack of these behind. I've got like 100 of these, so why not use them? They're free. But if any of you want to copy this design, you would probably use plywood for your shelf. I'm going to design my shelf actually around the depth of one of these sheets here, because the sheet is about 37 inches long, and that's perfect because it'll actually fit like a storage tote perfectly. And then in terms of how long the shelf is going to be, it's just going to be 8 feet. And the reason for that, for one, is that 8 feet fits in that room down there pretty well. And also, all of the 2x4s that I bought from Menards are all 8-foot 2x4s. So essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna build a box, like a square, or a rectangle rather, out of 2x4s that's gonna be 8 feet long, and then it's gonna have supporting 2x4s going across in it that are gonna be the depth of the shelf. So we're gonna do that right now, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So we're gonna make some cuts now. You don't ever skimp out on safety when you're running saws, so you always put your earplugs in. And you always wear your safety glasses. Okay guys, so I'll show you how we're gonna make the box part now. Just so you know, I'm just using like the cheapest 2.5-inch screws that Menards had, because I don't need anything fancy. This isn't gonna be outdoors. But one thing that you should always buy if you buy screws is make sure you get the star head screws like this. Don't use the Phillips head screws. They suck. They always strip out. These are fantastic. So I'll show you when this is done. Basically what's going to happen is these just go across on here, and then we're going to use these as supports under these. So just every distance that I need, I'm just going to put a 2x4 under there. Alright, so we're getting to the point where we're going to assemble the shelving unit now. So what we've got for legs are 4 6-foot long 2x4s. These are going to be the exterior legs of the shelving unit. And your initial instinct might be to just put the leg right up against the shelf, screw that together, do that all the way around, obviously, and then for the next shelf you would just do the same thing but up higher. And by doing that, you would essentially be hanging the shelf across the 2x4s using screws. But the problem with that is that while screws are very good at holding things together so that they don't pull apart like this, they're not very good at holding weight. Meaning, if I were to take this screw and screw it into my wall so it's sticking out like this, I could easily pull down on it like that and just break it in half. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to try to transfer the weight all the way to the floor. And the way we're going to do that, we're going to put feet on the shelf. So what's going to happen is this entire shelving unit is going to get lifted up onto this foot, and then on top of this shelf we'll have another 2x4 that'll come up to about here, and then that'll hold the weight of the second shelf. So you're transferring the weight all the way to the floor, and the screws are not holding any weight. Alright guys, so the next step, if you remember when we made our rectangle here, there was going to be one end that wasn't going to fit a full sheet, right? So we're going to have to cut this. So I'm just going to line this up so that it's kind of halfway on that supporting 2x4 in the middle. I'm just going to draw a line on the back. There it is. All right, it's time to put these shelves on the frame here, and we have to do this step next because the support 2x4s for the next shelf that we're going to put up are going to be resting on the corners of the shelf. So I need to get this down first. There's a variety of ways I could do this. I could nail it in, I could screw it in. I'm going to use this finishing air nailer. I think it's just going to be quicker and easier. I'll make a separate video on some key tools that I think first-time homeowners need to invest in right away when you buy your house. One of them is a pancake air compressor like this. I'm telling you, once you have an air compressor, it just really opens up your abilities as a homeowner. Must-have tool. Highly recommend. Let's go ahead and nail this together. Alright, we built the first shelf and we're ready to move on to the second one. So we're going to put the next support beams on. I specifically made these 27 inches tall. The reason for that is that the storage totes I'm going to use down here are about 13 inches tall, and that should allow me to stack two of them on top of each other with a little extra clearance to move them in and out. There it is, guys. The shelf is finished. I'm just gonna scooch it back into place here. Oh, it's not light, but it's very strong. All right, so our shelving unit is finished and I couldn't be happier with it. So to recap what we did here, we made a bottom shelf that's able to accommodate two 13-inch tall storage totes stacked on top of each other. This middle shelf is about a 20-inch gap here, so you can have a storage tote with a box on top of it, or a larger box, whatever you'd like. This is roughly another 20 inches, just free space to be used. And this all cost about $40, and of course, those of you that know me know that when I do something, it is done right, and it is done with the highest quality in mind. This shelf is extremely strong. This shelf will probably stay with this house forever, I would imagine. I would say this project overall took about 3 hours to complete. Probably if you wanted to buy something like this at the store that would be of this quality, this big and this strong, would probably be at least several $100s. So the way I look at it, 3 hours, to save yourself $300. It's $100 an hour. If you build this shelf, you basically made $100 an hour, and that's pretty good income if you ask anybody. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. Catch you next time.